When Lu Ting arrived at the top of the hill, there were already many figures waiting there. The one headed by him was riding on a horrific scaled horse, wearing a scarlet cloak, and his eyes were as cold as a knife. It was Lian Rufing, the leader of the guards of Feian village. "How is it?" Lian Rufing asked directly when he saw Lu Ting appearing. "Big brother, that kid is tricky. I almost fell into his hands if I didn't notice." As soon as these words came out, even Rufing and others were shocked. They knew that Lu Ting was at the level of inner strength in the second realm of true martial arts. Already, at the moment, Lu Ting explained the battle that happened just now, and finally said, "Brother, your opinion is right. I feel that this kid must be the helper invited by this old man Xiao Danren." Lian Rufing fell into silence, and then sneered for a long time. "As you said, that Lin Xun is just a little thing of the inner strength level. If this old fox Xiao Danren places his hopes on this Lin Xun, then he can too stupid." After a pause, he waved his hand and said, "However, since I know that this little thing has only such a little cultivation, it is no longer worth paying attention to. Brother, why don't we take this opportunity to kill this little thing first and give Xiao Danren a slap in the face?" Lu Ting said unwillingly. He was defeated in Lin Xun's hands, he was ashamed, and naturally he was unwilling to leave. "Don't worry, let them live for a while. The most important thing for us now is to fully integrate into the Kinyan tribe and occupy a place in it. In this way, we will completely abandon Feian village and have our own habitat in the future." The place. Lian Rufing took a deep breath and said with bright eyes, "This is a first-class event. As long as you join the Kinyan tribe, with the means of our brothers and the power of the Kinyan tribe, you can enter the East Forest." Breaking into a world in the city. Donglin City. It was the most prosperous city outside the 3,000 mountains. The traffic is busy, the people are densely populated, the trade is prosperous, and it extends in all directions. I heard that as long as you can stand there, you will become a qualified resident of the Ziyao Empire, which is much better than staying in this dangerous and impoverished small village. Thinking of this, the blood of the guards in the vicinity was boiling, and their hearts were filled with endless longing. "Lu Ting, you stay with Qianqi. Qianqi has a Kaifu level of cultivation. The two of you cooperate, you can completely suppress anyone in the village. You remember, keep an eye on Xiao Danren for me. As long as you find out if anything is wrong, grab this old thing immediately." Lian Rufing's eyes were stern, looking at Lu Ting and the other strong middle-aged man. He ordered in a deep voice, showing the taste of refusal. Lu Ting and Qianqi looked at each other and both agreed. Seeing this, Lian Rufing nodded his head in satisfaction, and immediately shouted, 3 months. Up to 3 months. All the wealth of Feian village will become our brother's possession. At that time, with these wealth and youth with the identity of the Yang tribe, the gate of Donglin City will definitely be opened for our brothers. Let's go. After he finished speaking, Lian Rufing had already rode the scaled horse under his crotch, and led a group of his subordinates to the vast distance in the mountains, and soon disappeared. And Lu Ting and Qianqi also took advantage of the night to return to Feian village. In the hut, the window was opened, and the night wind slowly entered, refreshing and pleasant. The dazzling starlight poured down and sprinkled a silvery white luster on the desk, covering the A-yellow scroll, and dark grey seal painter on the desk with a mysterious color. Lin Xun lightly rubbed the stroke of the book with his palm and muttered, "According to what Mr. Lu said, there is a world-shattering secret hidden in these 2 treasures. Get rid of internal trauma completely." Lin Xun knew a long time ago that when he was born, he originally possessed an extremely rare original spirit vessel in his body, called Tai Yuan swallowing the sphere, which was born with a first-class Tanjiao bloodline. A talent like this is definitely a natural talent for cultivation. There is no 1 in 10,000. As long as you practice hard, you are destined to become a generation of arrogance in the future, famous all over the world, looking down on the world, and terrifying. It is a pity that when Lin Xun was born, the inborn spiritual vein called Tai Yuan swallowing the sphere in his body was dug away by someone, and he almost died because of it. Even with Mr. Lu's rescue, Lin Xun, the abandoned baby, survived by chance, but because the source of the spiritual veins in his body was dug out, the meridians and acupoints of his body were left with irreparable wounds. The reason why his meridians are so stagnant and fragile now is because of this, which makes Lin Xun seem very mediocre on the road of cultivation. After years of cultivation, he still stays in the inner strong stage of the second level of Zen Wu. According to Mr. Lu's words, if the wounds in his body cannot be repaired, Lin Xun's lifelong achievements can only stop at the level of true martial arts, and cannot truly set foot on a higher realm of cultivation. The only thing that is fortunate is that this book left by Mr. Lu cast a glimmer of help on Lin Xun's nearly dark cultivation path. It is recognized by the world that all elixir, all secret methods, all inheritances in this world can't change the wounds left by the digging of the original spirit vessel. But Mr. Lu told Lin Xun that as long as he solved the secret hidden in this book, he could change his life against the sky and be born again. One book at a time, quietly placed on the desk. Lin Xun restrained his chaotic thoughts, took a deep breath, and opened the yellowed scroll. After leaving the destroyed mine prison, this was the first time that Lin Xun had opened this ancient scroll branded with the breath of time. What kind of shocking secret is hidden in it? Lin Xun couldn't help but look forward to it, but when he saw the content that appeared on the first page of the scroll, he was slightly startled. There is no text on the first page, only a spirit pattern is depicted, which is also the greenwood spirit pattern that Lin Xun is most familiar with. As early as a young age, Lin Xun began to trace and practice this spiritual pattern under the professor of Mr. Lu. He was already familiar with the structure and essence of it, and could easily grasp it. Wow! Lin Xun thought for a while, and then turned to the second page of the book. There was also no text on it, only a spirit pattern, which was also the thorn gold spirit pattern that Lin Xun was most familiar with. Wow! Lin Xun still couldn't believe it. He turned the pages and found that there was a spirit pattern on each page of the scroll. Every spirit pattern was so familiar that he had been exposed to and practiced since he was a child. It has long been branded in the bones, and it can be carved out with closed eyes. How could this be? Could it be that the secrets that Mr. Lu said are hidden in these basic spirit patterns? Halfway through the scroll, Lin Xun saw that he didn't find anything special, so he couldn't help frowning and fell into deep thought. If these spirit patterns are rare and high-grade existences, it would make Lin Xun feel something unusual. But unfortunately, these are the most basic spirit patterns, which are widely circulated in the world, which makes people a little puzzled. An ancient animal skin scroll filled with the breath of time was solemnly entrusted by Mr. Lu in his own hands when he was parting. Who could imagine that not only there were no world-shattering secrets in this scroll, but instead some well-known figures were drawn. The basic nether weave pattern. Still unwilling to give up, Lin Xun continued to read until he turned to the last page of the scroll. His hands slammed and his eyes narrowed. The last page of the volume is very different. The drawing above is not a basic spirit pattern, but a mottled, incomplete, dim, messy and dense-looking pattern that does not look like a spirit pattern at all. Like something drawn by a naughty child's pen and graffiti, there is no trace of spiritual patterns at all. But all of this suddenly caught Lin Xun's attention. Could it be that the shocking secret that Mr. Lu said was hidden in this weird pattern? Lin Xun looked at it carefully, studying the dense, incomplete, dim and mottled patterns with his heart. Time passed unknowingly, and Lin Xun's eyes were spent looking straight at him, and he didn't see a trace of value at all. Lin Xun couldn't help being a little disappointed, staring at this strange pattern, and fell into contemplation. An ancient scroll imprinted with the breath of the years. Almost all of the content is the basic spirit pattern. Only the last page has a messy and dense weird pattern, which is a bit unusual. What does this imply? If you want to crack the secret, Where do you need to start? Doubts came to Ling Xun's mind one by one. Just when Ling Xun was exhausted and puzzled about it, he glanced inadvertently and suddenly noticed that the color of the last page of the scroll was completely different from the previous pages, showing a faint red color. He picked up the scroll and took a look at the light on this thin paper page, which was made of unknown material. Something that Ling Xun had not noticed before suddenly appeared. Handprints. One by one, extremely dim blood-colored handprints. Like a long time ago, someone used a blood-stained finger to press the last page many times. Due to the time, these bloody handprints have become dim and mottled. And Ling Xun noticed that these handprints were of different sizes and colors, obviously not from the same person, nor from the same time. Seeing this, a bold thought quietly emerged in Ling Xun's mind. Could it be that this mysterious scroll was obtained by different cultivators in different periods a long time ago, and they exhausted their efforts to unlock the secrets of this book? However, there was no progress, so I finally tried to use my own blood as a guide in an attempt to get the answer. Thinking of this, Ling Xun immediately bit his fingertips and poured a drop of blood essence on this mysterious page.